Welcome back to another episode of Thinking Out Loud podcast. I'm your host, Dustin Cowan. This is my co host, Justin Gonzalez. We're
What's
coming
happening, y'all?
from South Carolina and Philly, where there's been a bunch of craziness going on. Philly thinks Joel Embiid is coming back. Who cares? You guys signed the running back from the New York Giants, Saquon
Saquon.
Barkley. Jason Kelsey says he wished he didn't retire because he knew something like this was going to happen. It's not too late. You can go right back to the Eagles. Nobody's gonna stop you from playing football, Jason Kelsey. And then you wanna know what's going on in South Carolina, man?
What's happening in South Carolina?
People are burning their house down. That's right. People are
What?
burning their houses down. There's two house fires on the island of Isle of Palms, and one happened while me and my wife were actually on a walk. So like, this dude was outside apparently doing yard work, right? And then 10 minutes later, his whole house is ablaze. It looks like a fireball, dog. It looks like a dragon came by, sat on his next door neighbor's roof, and blew fire on it, and then took off. I promise you, it was wild. Um,
Hmm.
so
And you
let,
saw this in real time.
let me set this story up for you. Okay, so me and my
Go
wife were
ahead.
taking a walk down the beach on Sunday last week, or last weekend, and so we're walking down the beach. The beach walk to where my mom's ashes are is probably about 30 plus minutes, right? Total, there and back, let's just say. If you walking fast, probably fast for some people. So we get out to the point, which is basically like a bridge between Isle of Palms and Sullivan's Island. People who are local will know what I'm talking about. We get out there, we hang out for a little bit. No smoke, clear day, not that much wind. Not that much wind. Come back, Christine's like, her spidey sense went up. It's like, that's a lot of smoke. I said, somebody probably just burning something in their yard. I was like, who's going to stop them? Everybody's stopping these rich people out here. And so we get a little closer. Smoke starts turning black. I was like, ugh, that was like something on fire. She's like, yeah, something's on fire. She's getting really, really concerned. And so we get a little closer, and she's like, oh my goodness, what is that? So we get to the house. House is engulfed in flames. I'm telling you, like, let's say I'm talking like, and this is less than 10 minutes. This is less than
Oh
10
no.
minutes. The sad thing about this is that, okay, the house is, if anybody knows the area, the house is in the 500s, which is basically like 5th Street or 5th Ave of the Isle of Palms. It's less than a mile away from the fire station.
Oh, wow. And so they didn't notice?
This is my whole problem with it. The fire station is less than a mile away from this house that's got burnt down. And the taxes are high here. Like, why can't the fire department put this house fire out? Like, they said after reading the report, they said that it took them about 30 minutes to get the fire under control. Like,
Wow.
if the fire department's less than a mile, they got 3 trucks. I mean, usually it's like a ladder truck, a water truck, and then like something like the bus, right? So not all of them are particularly for fighting fires, but Isle of Palms and that strip has hydrants, so their water truck is getting water. Like, it's not like, maybe it needs more than one hose. I think one hose per truck, whatever pressure. I'm not trying to act like I know anything about being a firefighter, but it's less than a mile away. And according to the rumors of the island, because I talked to this old lady at the grocery store, because that's who knows, right? The old lady ringing people out at the grocery store. She's, boop, yeah, I heard the boop. People were outside their own house doing yard work. That's the rumor. So these people are outside doing yard work, and their house caught on fire. Like, does that not scream arson to anybody else but me? Like, I'm sorry. Like, to me, it screams taxes a little high this year. My social security check getting low. We're behind on this mortgage. Let's set this
Yeah.
thing on fire. Like, right, and everybody's out the house. Nobody got hurt. Truck now. I ain't gonna front now. I'm not. I would have parked my truck a little further away because this truck got blown up. Like the heat, like, or I shouldn't say blown up, got melted. His truck got melted. Like, the grill's gone. Like, I went by there, saw. I got pictures of it. The tires on flat because I was like, ooh, look. I was like, let me go look at this house. So, when me and my wife were walking up there, she's like, oh, I want to go see. I said, no, we're not going to go see. I don't know if the house has gas. What happens if something blows up out the house and hits us in the head? Like, I don't know what's going on with this fire. What we better do? Look? No. Like I'm not gonna go look at no fire. I set fires all the time. She's never impressed with the fires I set, but she wants to go watch somebody else's house burn up in flames. But that's not here nor there. It's just a joke. Anyway, cuz that's what's going on in South Carolina, man. What's up? What's
Let
going on with
me
you?
let me tell you what's going on in Philly. All
Yeah,
right. All right, let's talk about Philly a little bit. All right. You don't know who this person is, but Mayor Parker delivers her first budget address promising to enforce law and clean up the city. So basically, it's a $246 million plan to clean up Philadelphia, as they call it. They're going to use $11 million to support two trash pickups twice a week because right now there's only one trash pickup in Philadelphia, which is mind blowing to me. They're going to get 1,500 more big belly trash cans, and they're also going to create new jobs by creating a illegal dumping task force. And they're also going to seal up 900 vacant buildings. There's 900 vacant buildings in Philadelphia.
that sounds like an opportunity for you, for me.
That sounds like a huge opportunity.
Like if you had some money, I'd go see what the city plans to do with these vacant buildings, and are they going to be for sale?
Exactly. And let me see. That's the major stuff. The rest of it's kind of like low. Like there's just some stuff that really doesn't really matter. But
Yeah,
Philadelphia's population has also dropped for the third year in a row. So people are leaving Philadelphia because of the crime rate and the filth.
I think people are leaving the north.
I believe that too. I think the remote jobs have something to do with that. But I definitely believe, like this past year, definitely the murders and the stealing of cars. There's a lot of that going on.
But
Um,
like, let's back up though. People are leaving
mhm.
Philadelphia, and you said you think it has a lot to do with remote jobs. So if you can get a Philly salary in South Carolina, and you know what you paid for your house, and you know what you can pay for a house down here,
No brainer.
I mean, also,
Your
like,
taxes are less down there. You have no
yeah,
like your taxes. I know they may be high for the South Carolina residents, but for us, but it's like,
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
you know. But it's weird because we got New Yorkers moving here too. So it's like we're getting New Yorkers, but the Philadelphians are moving out,
but New
but we're
York
not getting enough.
taxes, but New York
I think the
taxes are
Philly,
crazy too.
yeah, they're even worse than ours.
Worse than
They're
Philly,
like,
right, right, right.
yeah, they're way worse. And
Yeah,
Jersey's worse than ours too. Like so, actually, PA in the Northeast, as far as taxes, very friendly compared to New Jersey, New York, or anywhere else like Connecticut.
but you're also talking about like Philadelphia. I mean, I guess people don't realize Pennsylvania how big Pennsylvania is.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, like compared to like New York or New Jersey, like it swallows them.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
yeah, so it's way bigger than what people think. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's interesting that people. It's really Philadelphia is that dirty. Do you find Philadelphia to be that dirty?
Oh, absolutely. Philadelphia is like crazy trash, man. Like if there's if so to me, Philadelphia has the opportunity to be like a lot like Chicago
Okay, right,
if they just clean up. But it does. Yeah, I like so more trash cans. I get that theory, right? Yeah, we're gonna put more. All that's creating is more opportunity to have more trash, in my opinion. And how I learned this was when I worked for Alden Park, an apartment complex, 40 acres of land, 800 units, 2,200 people, right?
right,
And we at first we thought we didn't have enough trash cans and enough doggy stations, whatever. So we added more doggy stations with more trash cans.
right.
It's very odd how we discovered that we more trash ended up on the ground as we added more trash cans.
Interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, people get worse when they have. It's amazing. People just don't want to take their trash or put
So
trash in.
my theory was, okay, now that we added more trash, now it's more trash for this crew to pick up and put out.
Right,
You said now it's more of it, and maybe they can't get to all of it every day, or by the time they fill up one big one, because we're not going from the like, now we got these big belly trash cans that can contain more,
right,
but now they're getting filled up faster and more frequently because now see when people take trash and they're like, oh, well, I'm walking my dog, I can go take this with me now, or I can go do this with me now,
right.
So I hope the plan works because there's trash everywhere out here. It's like I've seen grown men with a trash can, literally right here, drink their stuff and throw it on the floor right in front of them.
What was I gonna say? Would you find Philadelphia to be a maneuverable city?
What do you mean by that?
So, like for instance, what time? Like, does your trash pickup happen in the morning or does it happen in the evening?
Ooh, I think it depends on where in the city you are
Right.
because they start at one time and they end at another. So I guess the like I guess mine's around noon,
Yeah.
but it
So,
all depends. But they start early in the morning, like 7 in the morning
yeah.
or so.
So Charleston has a trash day. I want to say they have a recycling day, and they have a like yard waste day in the city. So like cities in South Carolina, like I don't know how it is up there, but like for instance, if you're cleaning up your yard, you just throw your yard waste in the middle of the street, not in the middle of the street, but like on the side of the street. They'll come by with the
Hmm.
claw, pick it up, put it in the bin, and it happens like once a month or once a week, depending on what the need is, right? But we have a big tree preservation. I don't
Hmm.
know if I'm saying the word right. Preservation down here, and so like for instance, the red oak or oak trees down here, the legacy oaks, you can't cut them down, but you do have to prune them. You do have to shave them. You have to shave them, right? So the city will come shave them to the power lines, right? They'll like cut them up and they'll go around the power lines and cut what's around the power lines. So they put that on and then they clean that up usually as they're doing it. But you also have a lot of yard waste because of this tree. So like for instance, this tree's leaving, the limbs are breaking, all this other stuff. So you clean all that
That's
up out your
interesting.
yard and you put it on the side of the road. They'll come claw it and pick it up. So what I'm saying is a maneuverable city because those jobs are usually 9 to 5. So what happens is your city employees or your trash employees come out at the time you're trying to go to work too because that's when they clean up trash. And like I don't know if that's going to help you with traffic as much or like it's going to cause more of a situation.
No, 100%. Man, what was going through my mind when you were saying that was like, this may be time to go buy a dump truck.
Yeah,
Get in on the game,
yeah. Get you a
one day a
landfill.
week,
I have
one day a week.
I have a crazy idea for like when I start my land preservation and I mean for lack of better words, I'm going to build myself a smokehouse or a chimney. And so you can actually burn as long as you have a chimney, right? So
Okay.
needless to say, I'll probably burn stuff in my chimney. But it's kind of work in my brain like type plan progress. But
Have you ever been in a home where you have a working fireplace like that?
yeah, man. You remember
Oh,
309? 309 had a
oh
working
yeah.
fireplace. It had remember it had a
I
cook
forgot.
it had a cook oven actually. It had a working fireplace, but then like we bought the cast iron oven, like the old school ones you could cook on, like you could boil water on it,
Mm,
you could cook on it, right? So like that was it's designed to hold heat, but the oven part of it made it hold a lot more heat, and then you could distribute it because the vents out were so much less. But the chimney part was good. You just couldn't burn pine because the sap from the pine would jam your chimney and cause a house fire or smoke. We had 2 house fires because we burnt a lot of pine. It wasn't a house fire. The chimney it was a chimney fire. Sorry, I shouldn't say house fire. Chimney fire. Yeah.
mm.
Uh,
I didn't know you guys even used that. I thought it was just decoration.
Nah, dog. That thing used to burn all the time. All the time.
Really?
Oh yeah. I was in charge of fires. Believe it or not, I know how to build a pretty good fire. I mean, like I
You gotta do it like tic tac toe way. You gotta do a tic tac toe, and you put the
mm,
shrub on the bottom.
yeah, yeah, you could
You
do
put the
that.
twigs and stuff on the bottom, the stuff that catches fast, and you
Yeah,
put the
can't.
bigger like
Yeah,
tic tac toe.
yeah. That's one way of doing it. Yeah, for sure.
I have one in my apartment
Does it work?
at Alden Park.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you come there
yeah. The 3 bedroom or 2 bedroom?
yeah,
Sorry, two bedroom.
yeah. I have one in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Well, we didn't burn that one because the flu that wasn't working. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
but
had
my
one.
other one, it worked. It was the best, man. I used to put logs, and I could walk right to the woods. Go grab the wood. It was free wood, and because it was all dead trees back there, so
Right.
I just go.
Pat, 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 pat.
Me and yeah, me and Summer used to go. We used to help pick out, and then we go burn it. It was
Yeah.
great.
I had one apartment. It was a 1 bedroom that had that had a fireplace in it, and it was in Arizona of all places. So like nobody was probably burning fire. I burned a fire in that thing. I was like, yeah, light it up. But the problem was it was a short fireplace, so it was designed for like maybe one or two pieces of wood. I put like six, and then all the ashes would come out on the carpet. I have to vacuum all the time. It was bad. It was bad. But I love that thing. Yeah, I'll make a fire in a heartbeat, man.
So I got a question for you. Are you involved in cryptos?
I was, man. I messed up. Not gonna front, man. I dropped a good 5 stacks, and it flipped into 15, and I held it. But then like when I needed the money, I pulled it, and I shouldn't have ever pulled it. I should have never pulled it, man.
What'd you have?
I think I had Bit, and I had what's the dog?
Dogecoin.
Yeah, Dogecoin. I had quite a bit of Dogecoin.
Okay, so Dogecoin was one of them, like I guess altcoins or whatever. It wasn't like a it didn't really do anything. It was like a popular coin.
Yeah,
So I'm curious. So I'm a little shocked you're not involved in this bull market right now.
bull market.
Oh, you don't know.
Nah, what's going on?
All right, so the bull market's when everything kind of hits that low
Yeah,
and then it goes crazy. Like everything's going crazy right now, goes skyrocketing, and eventually it's going to stop and then come back down.
right.
The Bitcoin right now, I don't know if you know, is worth like $72,000 per coin.
Yeah, I knew it was crazy. I knew it jumped up to like 60 something a couple weeks ago, and then it was jumping up again.
Now, less than a year ago, or even like 3, 4 months ago, it was only at like 39.
Yeah,
So
I
think
I
about that.
I remember. I think I bought it when it was at 5,000 or 10,000.
So
Yeah, I just
there's a
messed up.
lot of coins. I'm gonna send you something on Instagram.
Okay.
It's what to do with $1,000, and there's three coins you must buy. And I'm
Oh,
sure you got, I'm sure you got a little play money where you can just put it there and let it rock.
I might, but I mean, I also got this. I'm trying to get this land thing going, man. I gotta get a house, man. I gotta figure it out. So we're kind of in that phase right now where we got to figure out if we're going to gamble on ourselves or play the mortgage game. And
Ooh,
I guess I could hit on that a little bit. So like the mortgage game would be to easily just go finance a house and go get what you need, right? Um, Betting on yourself would be other means. So like maybe auctions, maybe just land or like development and just different stuff like that. And so like foreclosures or different stuff like that. And so it's between probably like a foreclosure and a mortgage. And so we kind of gotta play the game and see how it goes. And
what's your fear of the mortgage?
too much mortgage for not enough house.
Mm,
Like you're sitting there,
yeah.
you're asking someone to pay $400,000 for a 3 bedroom, a three bath, sorry, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and the baths might not be even attached to a bedroom, right? Versus, um, and it's a 1 story brick, and it's, for lack of better words, let's just go 1,500 square feet, right? That's no house.
Mhm.
That house isn't really even worth. People don't even know, but that house is not worth $300,000. Now you may pay
It's
400.
worth like two, not even 180 really.
No, like you could build that house. You could build that same house, the same structure, probably for something right about 110 if you own the land. Now without the land,
So
it's
there you go.
different,
So I think this is good for people to hear, especially from you, someone that's a developer at this point,
right?
able to know the ins and outs of clearing land, developing the land, building a foundation, and then the house, right? And then
Right,
listing it and then to sell it. You
right.
know the whole shebang, right?
Yeah,
So
I know from building a drive. I know from building a driveway on a land, all the way to
right.
to a house. Yeah.
So you're not willing, even if you can afford it, your knowledge is not going to allow you to overpay for a house, right? And that's where the mortgage dilemma comes into it because you know you're gonna overpay with the mortgage, but it's more
Well,
convenient.
well, this is what I will say. Because it's not just me anymore, I will be influenced to do what's probably more comfortable for the relationship. But at the same
Mm.
time, we have to look at all venues. And not to mention, what's comfortable for a relationship might not be financially feasible. So, like, for instance, we might qualify for $450,000 loan, right? Okay, cool. Does that mean we can afford it? And that's a big thing about the house market. So you get qualified for a $450,000 loan, right? But now you're talking about maybe the next 7 years of your life trying to go perfect. Like nothing's going to happen. Like there's no health risk. There's no babies coming. There's no new car. No car is going to break down. No injury are going to happen. Nothing's going to happen to
The
the
market
house.
crashing.
There's no tree that's going to crash into your roof. There's no lightning that's going to hit your house. There's nobody who's going to wreck into your mailbox. There's nobody who's going to back into your driveway. Your guests aren't going to act a fool and fall. Like you're not going to have a slip and fall at your house. Like it's such a
Mhm.
plethora of things that like life just brings you that you
That can
think
go
they
wrong.
can go wrong, right? Like I mean, I can just be straight up. So like the first year I've owned two properties in my life. Well, technically a little more than that, but two properties in my life. I had a condo in Myrtle Beach, that's where you stayed, and then I had a house actually out in Arizona. And Al, our cousin, he sold me the house where he got me he's my real estate agent, and he got me financed and everything like that. I bought that house for $135,000, right? 3 bedroom, 1 bath. Um, Half a car garage because like a small car could fit in there, but my truck couldn't go in there. Yard, no HOA. Probably sat on a quarter acre of land, whatever. Um, Less than 30 days into the house, my hot water heater goes out. Right? Okay. 3 months into the house, the refrigerator goes out. I'm trying to think what else happened. Something else. Oh, my parents come to visit. My shower breaks. It's five of them plus me, and no one can take a shower. We got to fix the shower instantly. Toilet got stopped up when they came. Like like
Damn.
don't expect like. I mean, when you talk about adding five more butts to a toilet, it's usually only for two. So they're like, come on, what's it? Toilet's like you overworking me. It's not my fault. It's y'all. Yeah,
And these are
stop. Yeah,
loads.
stop. Yeah, stop dumping in me. Right.
Coward load, baby.
So like it's like it's you know, people think that things aren't gonna happen, and like then like so then you're like, okay, I'll solve my financial problem. I'm by myself. I got a 3 bedroom, 1 bath. I'll get a roommate. Okay, cool. My first roommate didn't have no car, but my second roommate had a car. But I'm sitting in a 1 car driveway, 1 car drive, and then like he could park behind me or park beside me, but then nobody else can park, and nobody's parking on the street. Like we're right next to Peoria and 75th. I mean, it's not a bad area, but it ain't the greatest area. That Circle K been robbed like 8 times down the street. Like what do you know, like So like so now I mean I got a roommate that's helping me pay the rent. So now I got to fix the problem with the driveway. I fixed the problem with the driveway. Um, who's
That's why
by?
you made it bigger, right? You made the
Yeah,
driveway
I made
bigger.
the driveway way bigger. Um, you know, and then you talk about selling. So I think me and my dad put roughly about 15, maybe $17,000 into it to add a second bathroom and a master bathroom, dual shower, and a walk-in closet because we added an addition to it. So the addition was probably about 17,000, and then the house probably would have sold for I think right about 200. So I'd have made a lot of money off that, but I wanted 250. Ended up somewhere about 220. You know, I still I made my money back off of it. So it worked out. It worked out.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, where are you leaning more towards? Like, what does Dustin Cowan want? And as far as the home, would you want to finance it or just find a slightly above average house with a little bit of work, or it would need some work, like a slight project, but the end result would be. So basically, would you rather go into a comfortable situation where everything seems brand new, everything's ready, wife happy, she got everything, or are you going to something that's slightly uncomfortable where you can make it your own, but you got a ton of potential and a ton of upside on it? Where are you leaning?
So two completely extreme spectrums, right? So you can move easily into a spec house where they got set prices at let's just say 350, right? Get in there, have an HOA fee, house is done, don't have to worry about that spec, but I'm paying an HOA fee, right? Okay. Mortgage is somewhat comfortable. I can live here close to something, probably has some amenities, probably has sidewalks, you can walk around there. Cool, great. No big deal. Biggest problem with me is I'm a 1099 employee. I bring work home. I have skid steers, trailers, trucks, materials, all type of stuff that I go get from the ends of the earth and have to go somewhere. I don't want to go all the way out into the country where I'm actually doing my renovations if I'm already at my resident at 5 o'clock, right? We're not going to go work. It's about to turn dark anyway. So a HOA home like that, a spec home, wouldn't allow me to bring work home. So I clearly need a non HOA home. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
foreclosures seem to not have HOAs, like, in my opinion. So if I get a non HOA home for the same price, right? So 350 just a mortgage, no HOA. Now we're talking, but I mean it's still an older house. Why is it selling for 350 in a non HOA? Because it needs to be updated. It's probably looking like 1973 in there and you want it to look like 2020 at least. So, to answer your question, a roof and four walls would be ideal. Like if I had a roof and four walls, I can make a bedroom livable in a day, right? You give me a day, you give me some paint, floor, bam, I can make one bedroom, right? But the bathroom, I could probably make a bathroom usable in 2 days, right? Like you have to give me about 2 days to make a bathroom usable. And that would be so that'd be a long weekend or a two-person weekend, right? If I got that done, now every time I come home, do I have a project every weekend and getting another room done? And like, do we stay on this? How often are we doing this? Like, what are we doing? Like, do you sit down and watch TV anymore? If if you look over that way, you got all this work to do. Like, you're not doing that. So, like, are but if that saves me $200,000 and only drop 150 on a foreclosure, I mean, I know I can afford 150 all day, right? I've already done it. So like that just makes more sense. But 350, two people got to work here, and we got to get along and make sure it works, right? So, like in my opinion, four walls, a roof, and a slight project, I'd be fine. Like as long as one of the rooms, as long as the bathroom, the kitchen are usable and livable, like not too like I can clean up, not too dirty, and then slowly modernize. Yeah, that's would be ideal. So that would be the way to go.
Okay. All right. I believe in the foreclosure method. Me personally, like mortgages scare the heck out of me,
It's
but
cheaper. It's mad cheaper. The key with mortgages is like it's kind of the things people say I'm house poor, right? But are you house poor? Are you house
depending on the
poor?
situation, yeah,
Well, then I
some
think I think I think people who are house poor aren't financially savvy or are not financially educating themselves. So if you're house
true.
poor and let's say you're house poor for 2 years, that's your fault. Refinance. Like you've been in there 2 years, you show that you can afford it. Get some help from your lenders. Somebody will give you a better interest rate. Somebody can give you your equity right back. Um, if you're house poor after the first 2 years and you got a 30-year mortgage, what difference does it make if you go 33, but you go comfortable the next 30 after the first three? Like I'm not gonna sit there with money if I've got an asset as a house and I know I can refinance or I have the ability to refinance or I can adjust my rate to a point. You shop rates. Shop who's going to give you the best deal. Shop equity in your house. What do you want to do? Like, are you house poor and can't do anything about it? Or are you house poor and don't want to be uncomfortable to get something out of it? Like, okay, what would I do? Here's three scenarios. Okay, I'm house poor and I'm barely making it, but my mortgage is at an 8, but I can shop around and get it back to a 4. Cool. Now I just restarted my mortgage, but I got a 4%, and my mortgage is now instead of being 2.5, it's only 2. So now I got an extra $500 a month. That's a big difference. $500 a month will help. You should be able to function out of that. Okay, I'm house poor. I don't know what to do. I refinance, pull all the equity out of my house for the last 2 years. I get 20 stacks. I can go build a mother-in-law suite in the back, and now I got an Airbnb out the back of my house.
Just
Now,
adding
now,
value.
now I'm making $500 a week off my
Hmm.
house. Okay, I'm house poor, but I can't get this house comfortable enough to what I want it to look like. Okay, I pull the equity out and renovate the whole house. Now the house is worth more, and I could sell this and then go back down to what I'm more comfortable to. It's a bunch of different things you could do. Like, if you're house poor, it's your fault. Like, don't be house poor and be able to afford the house. Like, these banks and these refinancing companies and these lenders and borrowers, like, get your credit right. Like, tighten up. Like, figure out what you can do to change up you being house poor. Like, don't be house poor. Like, or don't stay house poor. How about that? That'd be my
It's
suggestion.
interesting for you. You get your credit right, right? So I run into a lot of people. Um, Now that I'm in the solar game, most solar companies are asking, they're going to run your credit because you gotta get into a loan. But my company has a special program where you don't have to do all that. So that's people's number one fear when they hear solar. Oh, I can't afford it. I don't have good credit. Blah 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 blah. It's amazing to me how many people in their 30s or even late 20s or even their 40s don't have a credit card
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
don't have any idea of like what they can do with the credit card. And they do everything. They do every transaction from their debit card,
Cash, debit card. Yeah.
cash,
I'm not gonna
cash,
front.
debit.
That's me.
And when I try to explain it to them, like you're not spending your money right because you're not allowing your money to work for you. Like you should be using a credit card and then like try to find a way to get to that credit card that has points and then
Right.
use that because then those points you're generating money as you spend their money. So I just think I don't know if it's a educational thing like where on the platform where like the high schools or like
I think it's a
we're
self
just not
control thing.
teaching this, but it's kind of scary, man. Where
Yeah.
like and then people wonder why they're broke and why they have no money and why they can't do anything. I'm like, because you don't make any money, then you're using your debit card for everything,
Yeah.
and now you have no credibility. So you're like, well, I don't have any bad credit because I don't have credit. Well, I was like, to the system, that's bad credit.
Right.
And the way I say it is like this. It's like if you're playing a pickup basketball game, I know you're a great rebounder because you got in the game and you played, right?
Right.
Now you may not be great, and you may some people are terrible players, right? Those people with bad credit, and there's some players that are really good, people with good credit. But if you're just on the sidelines watching, we don't know what kind of credit you are,
Right.
so
One hundred
we're not
percent.
even going to take a chance.
But I think the misconception in like I think with credit cards is the self control aspect. So like first off, they give you a credit limit. Let's just use a round number of $10,000. Not all of y'all are gonna get $10,000 on your first credit card, so don't think that's happening.
Nope.
But like let's just say $10,000. Um, if you're sitting at a $10,000 limit, don't spend $10,000 every month. Like it's not what you should be doing. You should be focusing on what you normally spend a month and then have the credit card assist you as things come up. So, like for instance, I've transitioned all my purchases to pure credit card. Now,
Me
if
too.
any of those purchases come on that credit card and I don't recognize, I can dispute them, and the credit card company can say, "Oh, I see you purchased everything the day before in South Carolina, and everything the day after in South Carolina. This Nebraska charge clearly is not you. Absolutely not. I never went to Nebraska because you see, I bought all my tickets on this credit card. So I didn't buy a ticket to Nebraska. I wasn't in Nebraska yesterday. So like you can dispute that. So if you and the funny thing is, if you really know how to play the system and look into it, you can dispute stuff that you've actually bought. But that's scamming, and so don't do that.
A
But
lot of scammers out
there's a
here.
lot of scammers out here. But like the thing with that is like you spending your regular money. Like if you have a budget of I don't know 2,000 a month, you spend 2,000 a month that you're going to spend anyway, and at the end of that month you pay the $2,000 back. That reflects on your credit, and that's how you should use it. You shouldn't use it as I got a $10,000 limit. I have a $10,000 limit in case some crazy stuff happens, like emergency. I gotta go out of town. Then you might spend half and then spend another half to pay that credit card back off until your money gets back right. But for the most part, I just substitute the debit card to credit card, and now I straight do nothing with credit but credit card. And I'm actually about to start. I'm about to use the business and open a business credit card. And so then
Wow.
I'll have two different ones, and I know which one to. I just gotta make sure they're not the right color. Like I gotta go with either like a black card and a red card, and I know black for business, red for for play. But and that way I know what I'm spending
No,
based off
100%.
business and personal. And I think that's where people need to use. You can use credit to benefit you. Like you can get whatever you want on credit if your credit's solid. As long as they know you're paying the bills back, you good. Um,
That's it. And
one,
it can be used as a way to budget. It's like I think that's another
yeah,
thing. It would actually help you save money because now you're going to be like, I got limits. I can't go beyond. I can't go into overdraft. Right. I can't do that on a credit
right,
card. It taps out.
yeah,
So as long as you pay it on time, don't use all 10,000. Use 20% or less,
twenty
and just
percent or
pay
less,
it
yeah.
every month. Um, I think that simple lesson alone will help a lot of
But
people.
that's self control, and that's a lesson you can't teach yourself. Like if you know that every dollar you spend, you're gonna spend. Like I mean, if you spend like a teenager still, that's on you. Like if your parents sent you to the store at $20 and you got to borrow a dollar from a friend, credit card's not for you right now. But if you go to the store with $20 and you walk back out with 15, That's the type of mentality you got to have with a credit card. Another thing I was going to say, which you mentioned the points. Okay, you use your credit card all year. At the end of that year, if you just check your points, I bet you probably got enough points for about at least half your vacation. So now
Yeah.
you're even investing in yourself as far as like a vacation. And some of these credit cards have points in flight. Some have international. Some of them have hotel points, and some of them have just straight cash back. So if you don't even want to do that, like if you want your money back, get your money back. 1%, 2%.
Yeah, 100%. My points are paying for my trip to Jamaica in July, so
Yeah,
you know I ain't
yeah,
paying for nothing. It's
yeah.
all paid. I'm like, hey, we growing up, big boy status,
And
baby.
and I'll tell you another hustle on credit cards, and this is like just something that like people might want to like look into. So look and see what the credit card is actually able to do for you. So, like for instance, if you have a
Mm,
travel credit card, if you have a cashback credit card, and let's say, like in my situation, I had an international credit card. So, international credit card, the same amount of money that it is here is not taxed as it is there. And what that means is like if it's $10 here, it's $10 there, it's $10 everywhere, and it's just $10. It's not going to be $10.02 because you're in Canada, $10.08 because you're in Mexico, or $10 or $11 because you're in Europe, right? It's just all going to be $10. It transitions the money value of where your banking is coming from. My banking's in America, so whatever the value of what said asset is out of country is exactly the same amount of asset it is in America, and
mm,
that's big internationally traveling. Passport guys probably definitely need to look into this. Passport ladies need to look into this. But and like so if you got the three, and let's say you have bonuses on credit card, like for instance, let's say you spend $1,000, we'll give you 200 cash back. Like so, if you get three credit cards and each of them have that, spend the $3,000 over a period of time, get your cash back, bank that, and now you've made money. But then go back to using the credit card that benefits you the most. Like I did that right away. Like I got points because I was like, oh yeah, points, 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 bonuses, hit those. Now I got like you could have three credit cards and potentially get about $1,000 back just for spending the money you were going to spend anyway. And then those two credit cards that you don't use regular, you can keep on the tuck in case you need them or don't need them. Like just
mm.
saying.
Words of wisdom from a man here. I
Yeah,
hope y'all picked up some gems there.
yeah. One, two. I would recommend wherever you bank will probably give you the highest limit credit card. Look into them first. If you try to build a relationship, American Express is a great relationship credit card. And then I'll say just for starters, Capital One is always good to give you a nice bonus off the rip, but they're gonna have very little limit for you. And just about anybody can get a Capital One Venture card. $1,000, 200 back first month. That's a free one, Capital One. Next one's gonna charging you. But anyway,
No, for real though.
for real though.
I want to moving on. I do want to tackle this top topic. I want to. I forgot about last week. How do you feel, or what jobs or careers do you believe are going to be affected most by AI and robotics? What do you think the first wave of? I think I'll give you an example.
Oh,
Like for
I
example,
got
I
you.
don't know what the how the toll booths work down there. Like the tolls
Okay.
now completely
Well,
animated here.
so then I think you just answered your question right off the rip. Is money transaction jobs, cashiers, right off the rip, because a toll cashier, anybody who's taking tickets, any of that all can be handled through AI, right? Like for instance, if you go to the airport, you pull a ticket, you go check out with a ticket, and you pay with a credit card. But the lady who has the attitude problem, that's been out there in the cold all night, who doesn't want to, who does, it's like, it said $15. You owe me, $15. You're like, I was here an hour. Like, nope, $15. You don't have to deal with her no more. It is what it is with AI, right? Um, that weird dude that follows you around the grocery store. You don't have to deal with him no more because you can go to the little 4 block check yourself out, right? I think the first one would definitely be transactional. I even see it. Where you see it right now. AI is taking over the waitress almost, right? Because
It's
the
taking over the
the waitress
waitress,
waiter,
the bartender as well. That's
yeah,
going to be
they
next.
hand you this thing and you swipe your card. You don't even pay them with cash anymore because you just swipe your card and then they send it. They give it to you twice to give them a tip and you sign off on it, print your receipt, and you keep moving.
So you're saying most service jobs,
I'm not saying
cash handling jobs.
transactional jobs. So like transaction of funds. Yeah, those jobs from customer to purchase. I guess the purchase part is going to be taken care of through AI, and that's already the
And
biggest
what do
one.
you think the next area or next sector of workforce that's going to be affected by AI? What do you think's next?
It looks like music.
Hmm.
It looks like music. We already got people chat GBT in and doing songs and writing raps and AI artists, and we have digital Instagram girls, and we have digital TikTok videos. So I think
Okay, it's interesting. So
the
how would that work in like you're following an AI artist? They're not real, but they look real. They got all the videos, they got the Instagram, they got the TikToks. What about live performances? Like, because most artists now they're making all their money from touring.
right.
How do you duplicate that?
Have you ever seen a French kiwi juice listening concert?
No, I love French kiwi, but
So go on YouTube and look up if you get a chance. He's got a couple of concerts where he has the crowd wearing the headphones, right? And all they doing is listening to his music. He's a producer. So if people who don't know who French Kiwi Juice is, he's a producer.
he's
He was
fire.
he was signed to Red Bull. The biggest song I think that people would know him from is probably "Tada" with Masego, right? Um,
Ta-da!
yeah. And so he produced that whole song, and well, him and Masego produced the whole song together. But French Kiwi Juice is on there, and you see a lot of his loops and beat processes. He's a very instrumental guy. I think he plays something like five plus more instruments: drums, sax, guitar, beat machines, piano, and he sings. So. Um, if you look at his concerts where he has a small group of listening parties, so like he might go rent a venue out in Europe like the size of like I don't know. Let's just go a conference room. Let's say a conference room at a hotel, right? He
Hmm.
closes that conference off at 8 o'clock. These people put on their headphones. He puts his equipment on. He produces the whole beat. It comes out in his ear and it goes straight to your ear, and that's his concert. And people are jamming, right? We already have the Oculus. We already have the Apple imaging thing. So if I got an AI, if I got an AI artist, I just do small venue like that. I hand you a bunch of Oculuses. You pay your ticket. You come at 8 o'clock. All of a sudden, you're seeing the artist. You have a front row seat, even though you're in the nosebleeds, and we're all jamming out, right? And now we're not necessarily sharing the experience with somebody jamming and jumping off and getting the vibe off, but you can technically see the next person if you look this way in those Oculuses. But you're front row with this digital artist, and I think art is one of the next. I think art is one of the next jobs that AI is going to take away or try to take away as fast as possible.
For
Music
me,
first.
I think it's gonna be like the custodian, like the cleanup areas and all that, in the airports, hospitals, even your neighborhood trash. It may just be a truck that drives itself and some robots that pick up your trash.
This is going to
They
sound.
already got they already got the technology. They got robot movers too that I just saw a video on. I was shocked. I was like, wow, they got robotic movers.
I think that I am
Crazy.
robot or I robot. Like I think that scared people out of necessarily having a in-home agent, like to like a mechanical person. I'm not gonna front, and this is gonna sound cynical. I think people of wealth like to see service, like to see service in their home. I think if you take away that service industry, to the people who have the money to do it. I think you're taking away their like nose up or their thumb on people. I know that sounds
Okay.
cynical, but I really think that people are going to rather hire people to clean up their stuff than do it themselves for either being lazy, being in power, or just to floss. Like I'm
So
just, and
so
that's just my opinion.
okay, do you think that's the older money generation, or do you think that's the new, like today's new tech, my generation, or my brother, like that generation that's coming? Do you think I think they're gonna want the robot? Like that's what I mean by the future. I think the old people owe money, like Sally Mae, and she owes 50 acres and wherever, and has this castle and has all the maids and the butlers and everybody opens the doors and pulls up chairs. I think that is going to be gone in the next 10, 15 years. It's going to be an in-house, like, was the Jetsons, right?
Yeah,
What was that robot called?
yeah, I know you're talking about
Rose?
Rosa.
Yeah,
Yeah, Rosa, something like that. Yeah,
something like that, right? I think it's gonna be more like that. Like,
yeah.
hello, Mr. Cowan. Would you like your temperature at 70 today?
I think that's going to be for the poor, poor. I think that's going to be for the poor rich people.
The poor rich people? You think so?
So,
But
like for
you know
instance,
these
okay,
robots, they can make them look like humans, right? You know that, right?
what's the first thing they tell you to get when you get some money?
What's the first thing they tell you to get when you get some money?
Mm-hmm. What's the number one thing you should get when you get some money?
Assets, those
Lawyer,
things. Okay, a lawyer,
person. What's the second thing they tell you to get when you get some money?
accountant,
Doctor.
a doctor.
If you don't
Really?
if you don't have health, you don't have wealth, right?
Oh, okay. Well, I already have a doctor, but yeah.
All right. Number two, or number three, excuse me, it's number three. They tell you to get a chef, right? Because then that's
Okay,
more
so
health on the
a
wealth.
lawyer for your legals and financials, a doctor for your health, and a chef for your
And the
diet.
lawyer can be substituted with accountant manager or something like that. They say get an accountant or manager, but a lot of people are going away from that because if you can read and you get somebody who can read a contract to you and you can go through it because that's what you're paying your lawyer for, you don't need an accountant. You can count your own, as they call them, bean counters. You can count your own beans, but like no, lawyer, doctor, chef, right? That's the three. Like I think Jay Z has said that a couple times in an interview. A couple people said in an interview. Okay, what they don't tell you is au pair, and they don't tell you housekeeper or yard person, right? Because now you have an asset. It needs to look like an asset and stay the asset, right? Well,
Mhm.
if you can afford the lawyer, you probably got the au pair, which is the nanny, aka person take care of the kids, and then you probably have the housekeeper. A lot of times they're the same person, right? So, and then the yard person, because if you're really making that type of money, you don't have time to clean a house. You don't have time to cook. You don't always have the time to take the kids to and from because you're working at the same time the kids are getting educated. So, like, it's levels to this thing, right? So, like, I don't think people are get rid of that because if I'm trusting my most precious asset, my kids, I'd rather trust them with a human, even though there's some error in that versus a robot that might turn or break down, which I think probably has less error, but still, like and that's just I think people stumble on people or people thinking they're giving somebody employment is always going to be more important than some AI robot doing it for you. I think it's going to be for people.
Hmm.
It's gonna be more reflective for people of how people treat people, right? So like if you're a jerk in real life, AI robots are probably gonna work for you. But if you're a jerk in real life and you enjoy being a jerk, you're gonna love people around because you like pushing them down, right? But if you're a personable person, you don't want AI around. You want a person that you can communicate, talk to, ask how your day was. How was your day? Thanks for doing a great job at my house, right? I love what you're doing with my kids. Appreciate it. Tell me something that's going on with my kids. Versus a robot says, Sarah had a bad day at school today. She had a red card. Walks off. You're like, well, what does that mean? What they say? The teacher's not going to want to communicate with that. But because a person has a relationship with Sarah's teacher or Sarah's teacher, she's going to actually communicate with you, the person, and you're going to communicate with the parent. And that's the part that people. I just don't think service. I don't think
So
this. I don't think service industry is going away as far as a residential. Maybe public service industry might go away.
hmm. Me, just from reading a lot about this AI technology and what it can do, it's very scary. So I'll tell you a little bit of what these machines can do now. Basically, this conversation, any conversation on YouTube, everything, right? These things can just learn it like this.
Yeah, 100%.
So now, and now they're developing personalities. So I don't think it will be as like robotic as we think. I think it's going to get to a point. It's going to be other than some type of marking on these Android people or whatever. You're not going to be able to tell that it's an Android.
Right.
What was that movie, The Creator?
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I don't. Oh, talking about the one with the kid with the little hole in the head.
Yeah, with Denzel Washington's son that plays,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that was a good one.
You saw that?
Yeah.
He's married to an android.
Right. Right.
You
That's
see what I'm
basically.
saying?
Yeah.
So is that going to be the elite's way of population control, eliminating
But
jobs? Because when you eliminate the source, like it's no different than putting a turtle or an animal in a certain tank. They can only grow to that tank, right?
right.
as they shrink the mankind's tank,
What do you do with the poor people?
they gonna wipe them out, bro. Look what they're doing. Vaccines, this, that,
They're not.
poisoning the
They
food,
they they they
cancer.
can't wipe them out though. They can't, it's too many
If
of them.
you can, if you can replace it with something
You ever you
that's
ever
not that's gonna be obedient, you can.
you ever notice that, like, for instance, they'll put that down on Earth, but all the high societies in the future live in the sky because they want to get away from you people. Because they want to get away from you poor people.
For
Like,
real,
no,
that could be what's happening right now, right? Maybe that civilization that was quote unquote here, and they're like, "All right, this place is a dump now. We need to get out of here. So let's go up in the sky because these humans are just killing each other.
let me.
We're
That's
gonna
what.
watch them."
Why do you think? Why do you think space exploration still goes on, dog? They're just waiting to get away from us. They waiting to get away from us poor people. I'm trying to tell you, that's what it is. Like,
I don't think they
we're
figured
gonna
out.
get
I
them,
don't
we're gonna
think
get
they
them
figured all that out
lazy.
yet, though.
We're gonna start Uber eating their food. They don't even have to go to the grocery store no more. All they gotta do is just pick it up at Walmart. We can order everything off Amazon. The truck will drop it off to you. Just be lazy and lazier and lazier. Get codependent on this AI. Get codependent on this internet. Codependent on this social media, and don't do anything. Don't worry about it. We gonna
Well,
leave.
we're dependent on internet right now,
Yeah, 100%. Because I mean, we're talking across from.
and the cell phone. Remember, me and you can remember
Oh
where it
my
was
god.
like, you know what I mean? The cell phone wasn't a thing. You was in
Yeah.
high school, and the cell phone, like for you to have a cell phone was kind of like, wow, he got a cell phone.
Right. Bill
Wow,
was.
he's got Nokia. He can play Snake. He's got the the chirp.
Yep.
Yep, the
That
Boost
was
Mobile, right?
that
And
was
now
wild.
today, fast forward, everybody's got one. My kid has one who's 7 years old now. Full can do everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So what's to say? And that was this is less than 15 years ago.
Yeah. Right.
In our lifetime, I truly, honestly believe it's gonna be a much different. Like a lot of people with these like BS jobs and these non feasible jobs. You just kind of having it. Like for instance, there's a job in Philadelphia as a union, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're an elevator operator. I'm not saying no offense to anyone that can do that, but literally, you sit in a chair,
And you operate the
you,
elevator.
you make $25 to $30 an hour.
Right.
Getting out of your little chair. Duh. How you doing today? Yeah, go to 11th floor. Okay,
Yeah.
good day. Like
Yeah.
what?
Right.
And so it gets deeper and deeper, but it's just like a lot of those, and they're getting pensions. Those are pension jobs, bro. You're getting a
100%.
pension, like you're
Right.
set up
Right.
by just your only job is to get up, hit a button. There's no thought, and he's getting $20 an hour versus actually the person at McDonald's is working 10 times harder.
But see, this is where, like, blue collar or like service industry, and I'm not talking about service as far as like a elevator operator or a server or whatever, not service industry as far as like a plumber, electrician, a person who puts up stick, a framer. Why do you think those jobs are coming with so much more licensure and ramifications? Because they're trying to X you out of that and say, listen, AI can do it faster than that plumber, cheaper than that plumber, and you don't want to do it, they don't want to do it, and just pay them to do it, and it'll be done in a day. We'll send two, three of our AI agents to go fix your house. Versus you don't want to go outside in the sun, do your roof. You don't want to learn plumbing. You don't want to. We don't want to go to college. But what's college teaching you? College is teaching you a job that can be replaced by AI. So you can learn everything, and then so
I mean,
everything,
it's happening in real estate too.
yeah,
Um,
everything that's on a university, everything that's in a university is not on the internet. Everything that I've learned over the 4 years at Coastal Carolina and the 2.5 years
came from
or
the internet.
came is on the internet. Period. It's not that it's right at your fingers to post. So like, you want to go into debt for 60 or $100,000, but you've had the internet your whole life growing up. I don't understand these kids. Like, why would you go to school when you could just look it up?
which
Like,
which is interesting, right? So let's talk about TikTok and YouTube right now, right? So they're trying to actively ban TikTok, right? Because the United States doesn't own the data to it, right? So they're
right.
trying to ban it here. 'Cause that's what it's about. The United States now is no more than a data collection corporation.
Well, yeah. Look at your phone. My phone has 10 spam calls a day now. I don't know what I did, but I got ten.
I don't know what I did either.
I
I
got
think
10,
everybody's getting them. I
10
think
spam calls a
everybody's
day.
getting it.
Like it should be a harassment suit for that. Like that's too much.
Bro. The Patriot Act, man. Like they signed that away. 9/11, bro.
But
Like,
that
like
was, yeah, yeah. You're right.
they
You're right.
signed that away a long time ago. And the only reason it became an act is because they were already doing it. It's just that
They got caught.
they got caught. Google and all, and Apple got caught.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're like, oh, we gotta put it in law now,
Right,
and it just became a law. Like no one really had a say in it. It was quick, like backdoor type stuff. No one got a chance to vote on it. Nothing. It was just like boom, Patriot Act. Now we can spy on y'all and everybody else.
yeah.
Listen to all your phone calls because of this terrorist attack. That which I'm gonna say we did it.
Conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah. So you were talking to me about conspiracy theories. Tell me about where that came
Yeah, so
from.
I just wanted to touch on is it's just funny how conspiracy that when you hear like something that's like, wow, okay, that kind of makes sense, and now all of a sudden it's a conspiracy theory, right? Like
Right,
the guy who discovered the bottom of the ocean ain't the bottom of the ocean, and he was like, look, we're bouncing off the bottom of the ocean, but it's really just fish, it's really just dark water.
right.
That dude disappeared 7 days later or a week later, right?
I got one for you.
What
The guy who drove all the way down to South America on fry oil. You
on
know, he
frog oil?
so he was stopping at every McDonald's. He said, "Hey, I want to take your used fry oil." And they said, "Well, what do you want it for?" "I'm gonna run my car off of it." He's like, "You can't run no car off fry oil, but I mean, so we don't have to dump it." He's like, "Nah, I'll take it." He took it, sucked it up out of there, and drove a whole car all the way to South America. He never made it back.
So yeah, great point, right? The guy, there's another gentleman, right?
Dr. CB.
Him too, and there's another guy who discovered how to make water. Like he literally learned how to make water out of nothing, thin air, like hydrogen water, and was taking his tank and going to all the impoverished cities and helping out water. Yo, they destroyed his truck, they vandalized it. These agents that come out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? How much is I'm not gonna name I'm just gonna say the acronyms so we don't, what I mean, how much power do these people have? You know,
I mean, they're listening now, right? I
they're
mean,
listening right now.
yeah, you
That's why
think,
I'm not gonna mention that. I'm not gonna use the three letters
yeah,
or
you're on YouTube. It's a public platform, and if they're catching people who talk their raps that kill people, that they're clearly listening to conspiracy theorists. And like, once I think like you said, with the conspiracy theorists, it's somebody who has a great theory but just can't prove it, doesn't have the proof. Once they know that the proof is out there and you go looking for it or you're getting close to it, I think that's when, or you start to make a splash. Like something that's so blatantly obvious. Like, you know who I'm surprised. Well, I know what happened, but they shut him down. is is Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates had about 3 projects on his TikTok that was one using waste to re uh not energize but refertilize the earth around these countries that were pooping in their own water that was causing it to be toxic to them. He was using used nuclear energy, the stored waste nuclear energy, to rekindle energy out of it, because like there's still energy and wasted energy. And then there's another one to where he was using I can't remember the last one, but like you talk about like a big person that had super projects that knew it worked, showed it worked, but couldn't get it done here, but could do it somewhere else, and then the somewhere else shut it down or doesn't use it. Why don't they use it? But it works. It's proven. Like it's a known science. Like
it's no different than like Tesla, right? And he figured out there's free energy out here, and J.P. Morgan and the Rockefellers like, absolutely not. They need to buy oil, shut this down, raid his house, make him seem crazy, right? Conspiracy. That's where I'm getting at, right? It's
yeah,
as soon as someone breaks through, it was like, yo, we can run our cars off water. That person disappears. The moment you show that tech, they disappear. And then they can call it a conspiracy theory, or they bury the technology so deep that it takes another 30 years to get around to it.
right.
Um, uh, I think the conspiracy theory came more from that, where it was like, man, the government got together and was like, hey, we got to figure out how to derail people from knowing the truth. So we're going to call it a conspiracy theory. And then we're going to use so much propaganda on whatever it is that we're going to like right now, the internet is oversupply of
Oh
information.
yeah. I
So it's hard to know the truth. And it comes from so many. Well, he said this, and he said that, and he said this. It's like religion, right? You have to go through all the different religions to find out the real truth because it's kind of hidden in every religion.
everyone.
None of them are
Right.
wrong. It's just that they just took one part of the bigger picture and kind of made it like
Right.
that's the truth, you know?
Right. I think another piece of that is kind of the age old thing is as soon as you affect someone's power, they're threatened. Like
Correct.
if you think your power comes from money, as soon as someone threatens your money, if you think your power comes from your borders and then someone crosses into your borders, if you think your power comes from intelligence and then someone also has your same intelligence, ignores more, that's a threat. So now that that threat's out here, how am I deal with that threat? Like, or what am I going to do with this information that I know someone knows more information than me, or this information could hinder one of the other three. Like, it could hinder my borders, it could hinder my money, it could hinder my intelligence. Like,
No, for sure. We're in an economy right now where data and information is way more valuable than money,
well,
you
yeah, I
know?
mean, like even this YouTube thing. Once you figure out what algorithms and what sales on here, that's when your page and that's when you're following, that's when your streams. Like as soon as we hit that one stride, or once we see what's trending and what's not. Like for instance, I think when we talk about uh, rap and when we talk about basketball, it's interesting that those are the topics that come on our shorts that are generated from AI, for lack of better words, and versus when we hit the right one, you see a spike in what we talk about. But like if we knew exactly how to pinpoint that or whatever not, and we honed in on that and we developed the audience base just solely on that, this would pop faster, right? But I don't think that's what we're in it for. Like honestly, this is a conversation with my cousin. I enjoy talking to you no matter what. I don't care who watches it or not. But like at the same time, like eventually when we get together or figure out how to get this thing right.
Yeah, we pinpoint that
Yeah,
and
we
we
pinpoint
just
that. We just
ride that
ride the
wave.
wave.
100%.
Yeah,
100% on that. So, the conspiracies, they're going to be around. They're going to be around forever. Whether or not we debunk them,
yeah, man.
I think the truth eventually comes out, but it's always like years later. Like, oh, by the way, this happened.
The truth comes out when it can no longer affect anybody.
Or be hidden.
No, I think the truth comes out when it doesn't affect anybody. Like, for instance, like, okay, if the truth about eating food came out right now, like in everybody's face,
When
not
everybody realizes they don't have to eat food.
not a conspiracy theory, not a theory from Dr. CB, not like I'm talking about like if the same people who said, "Oh, yeah, you can put blue one dye in every cereal" came out and said, "Listen, blue one dye is what's causing cancer. Stop eating blue one dye." Like if this
That's
if
right. You can't
I'm
mess with
allergic
that.
to a blue one, but I still dabble. Like, I mean, it's not to that point, not like fatal. Um, if they said that out loud, that would they would like, oh snap, get rid of blue one dye. Period. When you have a blue crown in school, they get rid of color blue altogether, right? If someone, if a real public figure that everybody listened to, like, and had the facts and showed the story, and a real story came out, like it makes more headlines. But like now, it's like you said, just hide it, or it's not affecting enough people to where it matters. Not to mention, the United States doesn't sell anything but entertainment and fake health.
We become the new Rome, man. Right before Rome failed, man, it was a bunch of games. A bunch of like what was it, 100 something games at 100 days of the games at the arena,
Yeah,
and then next you got invaded and no more. I think we're at that point. What's to stop us from getting invaded when they use an EMP blast, everybody goes black, stuck, stopped. Next you seen parachutes flying here.
I think we have enough. I think we have enough technology to keep us away from that so far. But if
You think
it's not
so?
far. Oh yeah.
But wait. What if? All right, you may be right, but who's to say that America just doesn't allow it to happen? Right? We had enough technology to stop 9/11.
So
Yes.
so that would be non-American, right? Like for instance, if that was going to happen, that'd be non-Americans. Like so, it's no longer American when something like that happens, right? So like that is seceding from the country. Like if you're if you're if you're allowing terrorists to come in, you are no longer American. You're a terrorist, right? Like so, for instance, if you're like, you know what, we're gonna open this window of opportunity because I got paid a bag, and I know I'm gonna be the man when they come over here. You know, you're not American anymore. That's not American, right? Now you say they had the intelligence in the to stop 9/11. I agree with that, but I think that was to take the eye off whatever the bigger thumbnail was there. Like this economy is going downhill. We need another war. Let the attack happen. We got to refunnel this economy.
It's going down right now.
Yeah, but you know
They're disguising it with Bidenomics, and we're doing all they pumping. No, everybody has a job. And da, 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 da. But I was like, I'm telling you, that is a bunch of nonsense.
yeah.
I live in Philadelphia. There are a lot of people here with no jobs. And in fact, I'm going to say, if I took 100 homes, about 40% of them homes have a bunch of people not working.
So let's hit back on something you said about Philly. What do you think that trash? Who do you think is going to pay for that trash?
Taxpayers,
So if you've been
us.
if you know if you family of four, no job having, leeching off EBT, Social Security and all that stuff,
Keep
but
going.
you live check to check, and now all of a sudden your tax bill is $10,000 versus it was two the year before. I got you. That's what I'm trying to get rid of. I'm
And
trying to
then
I'm trying to
and
turn
then what happens? Keep going.
foreclosure. Development company buys it and turns your what was worth $800,000 home into a $2 million home.
So the government never lie, or I'm not saying government, but these people of power, they never lie, right? They just put it in a way, they present you the facts, but in a way you may not understand the time. But they put the truth there that way. That's how they protect their karma.
It's a slow game. It's a slow burn. It's
Yeah,
not fast. Yeah, it's a slow
right.
burn.
So that's what's happening. In their opinion, what they're basically saying is the only way to clean up the city is to raise taxes and clean up the demographic.
I,
That's what they're basically saying.
and if you're not participating in that to their standard, you'll get rolled over.
You'll get rolled over. And you can hold on as long as you want. You can be that block captain. You made good money. You had that pension. You had a good, whatever. And they'll wait you out because
Yeah.
eventually you're gonna die.
But they're not worried about the worker. They're worried about the non-worker. They're worried about that family of four that you're selling solar to who don't nobody has a job but doesn't want their credit ran, who doesn't have a credit card.
But the only way to get the solar in this program, just so you know, you have to pay your bill. So it's not
Yeah.
like you can't be a complete bum because we're not,
Yeah.
we are a business. So it's like there are qualifications. It's not
Yeah.
like just anybody can get solar panels. It's like no, you gotta have certain things in place.
Yeah.
But yeah, Philadelphia is interesting, man. It's going to be, hopefully, they clean it up. They're doing a good job with Kensington right now, but even Kensington, right, is an opportunity zone. They had all the drug people there. It brought down a community, bunch of abandoned homes. Now it's cleaning up. Now all of a sudden, $1 million homes are showing up.
You need,
75, you know, $750,000 homes are showing up in Kensington. It's kind of crazy,
you better
but
get your duckies together, man, because eventually you get budgeted out. You get stuck in renting, or you're gonna have to move, like, because you're never gonna be able to own. Like, I think that's
yeah, I'm gonna be able to own at some point. It's just a matter of where. I've been taking my time.
I
I'm
don't
not gonna.
I don't think it
I'm not.
matters where anymore. I think it's a matter of getting it, and then somebody will come to you later, and it'll be worth more than what you paid for. It's a matter of getting now. Like, I just think it's just changed. So like when I bought my house in 2014, 15, it was, yo, D. Told me, he says, listen, they're not going to take anything less than a full offer. I said, cool, full offer on the house, whatever, I don't care. You know, full offer was 145. We ended up going down 10,000 because the negotiations wasn't closing, not in the negotiation wasn't at the price point, right? I can afford the price point, but the negotiations was the inspection and closing. And that cost me a bit of money. So like what happens is the hustle is different, right? So I paid 35 or 135,000 for the house, but I ended up paying 3,000 in inspections, insurances, and closing cost fees, right? Okay. So that gets out the way. So like I got a discount of what, $7,000 on the house. Not real. I mean, realistically, because I paid three up front. So Like that's the thing. So once you have the ability to actually purchase and actually buy, then figure it out. Because once you have the asset, you can finance against the asset, and it'll open up opportunities. If you're hustling and know what to do with the money, you can use that finance money to go do something else. Invest it back in your Bitcoin. You know how to do it.
Bitcoin, baby. And a lot of people don't understand that either, which is it's understandable, but it's kind of I think people are like skeptical of it. But one thing's for sure, the American dollar is going down. Like if you guys are not paying attention, like you can't spend your cash anywhere. There's a reason for it.
Yeah,
Nobody wants it.
yeah. Well, look,
Nobody
man.
wants it. These corporations don't want it.
Look, I'm gonna call it on that one. We're gonna get up out of here. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Thinking Out Loud podcast. I'm your host Dustin Cowan. It's my big cuz J
Justin
Gat
Gonzalez.
J Gat. All right, peace. We
All right,
out.
yo, check it out. Peace.